course, let me set up some tech stuff here to be sure that I am streaming in all the places that I intend to stream. Making sure we have a good video. We have an amazing show today. So you are going to want to stick around. We're going to start with a general reading. Then we're going to go into, I don't know why this is not accepting my whatever. I will have to deal with it later because I don't have the patience to deal with it right now. Okay, so yeah, we are going to start with a general collective reading, see what energies are going to be coming in for the next couple of weeks. Then we are going to be talking to Alex Fredericks of Tonewell. Remember, I told you about the amazing technology that he helped create and develop that literally helps you, helps him get a reading of your body from your stress levels to your sleep or your what you might be in deficit of, just from a 30-second voice take. So without further ado, we're going to jump into the collective reading. These messages are general. They are for anybody who finds this video. Just know that there is an incredibly dynamic energy going on right now. I think finally we are in the state of, oh, okay, yeah, things are opening up. Remember, the last few readings were all about the doors of opportunity swinging open. And so I hope the last couple of weeks have been like that for you, because they've definitely been like that for me. If there's any issue with the audio, let me just double check the chat here as well to be sure nobody's saying they can't hear me. And let's see what we got here. Yeah, we're just going to take it easy. I'm still, getting the hang of this new studio, and it is pretty cool. It's a little clunky, but just work with me here, okay? So anyways, I didn't start the intro, which I will do, and then we shall take it from there. Right? My old cat.
What's up, guys? Mika here, the traveling tarot. And you are listening to.
Oh,
What's
God.
up, guys? Mika here, the traveling tarot, and you are listening to the sound.
Come on, let go, baby. You know you wanna. Come on, let go. Don't you know it feels good? Come on, let go. You know you wanna. Come on, let go. Don't you know it feels good?
So now we can officially start the show, everybody. So I'm going to go ahead and start by just pulling a few Cupid's Arrow. I do that every single time I use these cards. Arrow Oracle cards. Ooh, and it's exactly what I just said. The first card that flipped over was expansion. Remember what the last couple of weeks of readings have been about? This is the period that we're in right now, and they're definitely saying pursue bigger and greater endeavors. You may even be feeling that expansive energy right now. I love that, because the bottom of the deck shows us that wisdom. We are now applying these things that we have been learning, and these things that we've been fine-tuning, these things that we've been releasing and embracing and embodying. We are in that expansive period. So if you are not experiencing this, then you've got to sort of take a zoom out so that you can see the best way to move, because that just means that you're a little too in or dug into something, okay? Because this energy is palpable. And remember what I was saying about the doors of opportunity swinging open and all of that? I mean, it has rained down on, I know, at least me, to the point where it's helping me identify kind of the leaks in my system. I was so happy to have all these blessings flow in, but now I'm like, okay, well, I really need to now start fine-tuning my schedule and get serious about this, because I need to have this energy for the stuff that I've been asking for. And they're saying that this is the time right now. Things are expanding in obvious ways. And so if you're not, again, experiencing that, just zoom out a little bit. and take stock of how far you've come, and you'll start to get that momentum of noticing what's actually happening here. And again, we had wisdom show up at the bottom of the deck, so that confirms that you're now zooming out to use that information that you've learned over all of this fine tuning and all of that stuff to move into this new expansive period. Okay, I'm gonna pull another card here and see what else they want us to know about this. What else do you want the viewer to know about the next couple? Yeah, we got the Lovers card showing up, and this is very similar to the energy of the tarot with the Lovers, which is all about aligned choices, aligned things, things aligning and making aligned choices. This could also have to do with partnerships, because that's another thing that I found during this expansive time. If you're leaning into this, the people are showing up. If you're moving with this, the opportunities are showing up, the doors are opening up, and the only thing you're being asked to do is to move with it, and move with it in a more aligned, not even more aligned. Clearly, you're expanding, so you're aligned with it. Just lean more into the alignment of it instead of the lack or the mechanics of having to get it to move forward. We have Ask Your Angel showing up at the bottom of the deck. This is the wind beneath your wings. This is the guiding force behind this expansion. And so, again, if you're not feeling anything like this, it is only because you are moving against the wind instead of letting the wind guide you, which is exactly what your angel spirits guides are doing. I have literally just been like, I would do, and now I'm gotten to the habit. This is my daily shit. I am this. People feel this way about me. People love, and it is so crazy how it is showing up in my world. The most exciting part of it is, yes, the manifestation, but really knowing that I'm aligned with it, knowing that I'm in alignment with who I am now, and knowing that I'm making the right choices to move into this powerfully and joyfully. And some people, and again, some people might be afraid of the type of success or expansion that is about to really start kicking into full swing if it hasn't already. But it's only because you need to move with it. It is going to challenge you in a way that it's going to bring up stuff that you might have to push through, that you might have to say, you know what? Yeah, this hurts. This fucking sucks. But I am not stopping. That's where we're at right now, because eventually those things that you keep pushing up against will dissipate. They will get fainter and fainter. And again, they don't ever go away. But you have the ability to tune them out the more you lean this way, instead of keeping either looking back and forth or trying to look back in that past direction. Do what the Page of Swords does. Use that clarity, that wisdom we saw from the past to move forward with clarity. You now know what ain't it. You don't have to take what ain't it with you, because it ain't it. Straight up. So just know that this next couple of weeks is just going to be more of that expansion, more of those aligned choices, more of that discernment, more of that, are these people, places, thoughts, energies aligned with who I am now? Because you are moving in there anyway, and you'll know how ready you are by your ability to step fully into it and to hold on to it without feeling like you have to hold it together. Okay? It'll feel like the most natural thing. And so that's why this next couple of weeks is going to be all about you getting completely clear on what that is, making sure the things that you are doing, looking at, seeing, and you don't have to obsess about it, because the more you decide what's aligned with you, the things that are no longer aligned will vibrate away. That's how frequency works. You have to make the conscious choice not to continue to tap into that energy, or tap into it less, give it less airtime than the worry and the doubt or whatever. I mean, then the positive motion forward. Focus more on the vision, do what you can to live in the end, and eventually that stuff gets fainter and fainter. I'm going to pull one more of these Cupid's Arrow Oracle cards, because it's really kind of right on par with the other readings that we were getting. Like for the past couple weeks, it's been doors of opportunity. It's been all this expansive energy, which we just got right here. But it's also been, yeah, because of this, some stuff might start showing itself to you. This is your time to shine and say, that stuff's not me anymore. You have to show up like this to exist in this energy. And if you can't show up like that, I don't even have to do anything. You won't be able to even see me. That's why you have to focus on how you feel and making the aligned choices for you. Because those things that keep nagging at you are only can affect you if they're active. Once you make the decision that they have no power over you, then they don't until you let them again. Okay, and that's all they want me to say there. But it's all about just continuing to use that discernment for these more aligned choices. I love you guys so much, and I love it when they do that. Celebration. This has brought me the most clarity that I've had over the couple weeks. I think I might have told you guys about the spiral day, and I just randomly like had Abraham Hicks pop up on my shuffle, and she reminded me that the universe is responding to you. It's not blessing you. It's not. It's not punishing you. It's responding to you. And so, yeah, things might seem a little fucked up if all you're exuding is fucked up energy or worry or doubt. They're saying no. I listened to that day and I said, you're right. Like everything she was saying, I was just like, you know what? This is through tears. This is through spiral. This is through frustration, driving. Just like, okay, I'm frustrated. And it just randomly came on and it hit so perfectly that I was like, this makes sense. Abundance is not about going out and trying to force a square into a circle or vice versa. It is about getting into the energy and allowing that stuff to come to you. And so I have been making conscious effort every single day to be like, let me find some joy. And I think I said this in one of the wisdom circles that I was talking in. Let me play my ukulele before I wake up and jump into these emails. Let me play my ukulele before I get up and start getting into what I actually need to do. It is so important to set the tone for how things are going to flow, because it isn't that you're out here like, oh God, I got to go and get this going. No, get into the energy and those emails will show up. Those opportunities will show up. Those things will show up that you've been asking for. This is the time for you to see that. And if they're not, zoom out a little bit. Remember what I told you. It's already handled is my favorite general statement. Declutter. I love that so much because at the bottom of the deck they're saying celebrate, joyfully release these things because it's aligning you with who you are right now and it's bringing you powerfully into who you said you've been wanting to be this entire time. And so it's super important for you to move like you're already that person. I don't get down with fake it till you make it. I don't believe in that because the universe knows you're faking it. If you go into it saying, I'm pretending like I'm this, the universe listens to what you mean, not what you say. And so if you go into it knowing you're faking it, it's responding to that. You've got to find a way to believe it, and you do that gradually by believing it little by little until you start to prove to yourself the correlation between what you're focused on and what you're getting. And it will change fast. We've all been through so many things that we start to identify as the girl who's trying to create abundance, as the person who's unlucky at love, as the trauma victim who lived all of this. Yes, that has brought you to who you are right now. But as soon as you stop identifying with who that is, that person, everything changes because it's about who you see yourself as. And so even if you feel healed, but you're presenting yourself to the world as this survivor of this and trauma of this, that's only to relate to other people that feel that way. The energy is responding to who you see yourself as. Somebody who is not that anymore. Hasn't been that. That was then. This is now. Start from base. You don't have to go back and try to clean anything up. Just start from right now, deciding something else. You will see it fast in your world, and I shit you not. And that's what declutter is all about. We have to stop identifying with these things that we've carried with us. The one thing that I've said even in a recent interview, I was on a friend's podcast. We are not becoming something new. We are chipping away the BS so that we can become the statue of David. Like, where all the stuff that we brought up to believe and carried with us, we're chipping away at that. And so that is how we're becoming who we are. And so we are stepping into a more joyful, powerful time here. Okay, the celebration is real. It's not even just asking you to be more joyful. Tune into the joy that's around you. We're in Jubilee right now, and it may seem crazy, but if you can find that over-the-top enthusiasm about anything that you're focused on, that over-the-top excitement, it's just as powerful, if not more powerful, than going and meditating on something for a while. Just go dance, just go sing, just go jump in the rain, just go climb the mountain, just go swim, go do those things. And you will find the answer that you're looking for in the clarity. And not only will you find it, but you'll see how expansive you are and how much you've expanded this entire time. Okay? So let's go ahead and jump into the tarot, because that, like I said, the next couple of weeks is just going to be more expansion, more decluttering, more joyful existence, more making aligned choices with who you are right now. And that means maybe this friend, lover, teacher, whoever can't really come with you here. You'll know that by what you're currently living. Your emotions are telling you exactly what you're in alignment with and what you're not in alignment with. And the more you tune into that, then you'll be able to understand how to navigate what does show up. I love this because as soon as I pick this up, we have the Queen of Swords. And on my talk that I'm going to give here after we come back from the first part of the segment, I'm going to discuss moving through the Queens and how the Queen of Swords is, for me, makes the most sense as the first queen, the first stage that you have to move through. Because if you don't have that clarity, you're not going to be able to tap into your true authentic self with the Queen of Wands. You're never going to be able to stabilize your physical world or build anything real until you get the clarity of the Queen of Swords. Okay? And so we'll get into that talk in a minute, but I love that she showed up here because it's all about you deciding and discerning what is yours now, what belongs with you on this new trail. Okay, and that's really what this feels like. It's going to be discernment, decluttering. I don't care if it's your digital files. I don't care if it's your house. I don't care if it's your thoughts. It's time to trim the fat and get to the meat, because right now we're moving into a time where we need to be present for everything that's showing up. For sure. So tell me more about this expansion for the person watching this video. And tell me more about pursuing bigger and greater endeavors. What does that look like for them? Or us, because I'm part of the collective. Yeah, and you know what? Even though this is a Three of Swords and it can feel like some type of pain, the question I ask is, you're expanding beyond those things that have hurt you before. That's what this is. And so even though this looks like a painful card, and in certain contexts, it's probably one of the most painful in the deck. But in terms of asking about this expansion, you're moving past those things that you thought you were based on the experience and the pain, or the things that you lived that have literally in a weird, crazy way, it feels like your heart was torn open, but it was opening up so that you can actually receive. And so that is what this expansive energy is. It's moving you beyond. And that's why it says pursue bigger and greater endeavors. It's moving you beyond anything you've experienced, anything that you've known before, and anything that you think you are right now. And that's 100% the truth. I love that because we have another king showing up and he's the king of cups. And so even though I'm talking about moving through the queens, this energy is not gender specific. Queens just represent grounding yourself in your new truth or your understanding or your ability to manifest or your ability to love and tune into your intuition depending on the queen you're talking about. But the kings just represent mastery of that. So the queens ground themselves into it, and the king is able to balance himself out, rule in a way where he can utilize his mastery, if you will. Okay, and we get into that talk, then it'll make a lot more sense. But I love that the king showed up in response to this expansive energy because it's moving you way beyond whoever you thought you were, based on whatever hurt you, because that's exactly what this is. In this context, this can more represent healing than the thing that tore you apart because it is clarifying expansion. Okay, so just please, if you do find that and you feel the pain of this Three of Swords more, just understand that it is moving you beyond even this pain you might feel in this moment, okay? And bringing you back to a place of balance with that king energy. Tell me about this lover's energy that showed up. It does say passionate connection, but it also does say making those aligned choices from like your vision or your values. But that was the other thing I told you is that when you align and start making those aligned choices, you'll see the people that are coming, that are meant to come with you on this journey, and those ones that are meant to stay and go. You know, they made a left up here, and you kept going, and that's okay because they were only meant to be with you thus far until or unless you're meant to meet each other later on down the line. Okay, but with that lover's energy, it really does speak to aligned partners. Aligned, and this could be romantic, but it does feel also just like friendships, business partners. But this is all coming from whatever you experienced and whatever you're now expanding beyond, so that you no longer accept those misaligned connections or those misaligned thoughts or decisions. Okay? Tell me more about the Lover's card, please. Yeah, and this is exactly what I just said, because the Seven of Swords can represent, stealth and receiving a strategy, but it also can represent those connections that are no longer aligned. And there's some deceit in this card. There's a little sneakiness in this card. There's some getting away with something. And they're even saying if you're hung up on that, then that is hurting you more than it's helping you to say, I'm staying in this connection because I don't want to feel with them to feel like they got away with something. Okay, let them get away because they're trying to get away for a reason. If you're aligned with your expansion and they aren't aligned with it, they have no choice but to leave or to become the dominant energy. One of two things will happen. They will bring you down there with them, or you'll bring them up there with you. Three things, or they'll vibrate completely out of your experience, because that's how frequency works. You can tell when one of these strings is out of tune with the other strings, and it either sounds like shit, or you figure out how to get it in tune with the other strings. Okay, it's one or the other. And so this does feel like there could have been some past, especially showing up with this Three of Swords. There could have been some past deceit, sneakiness, some past hurt tied around, someone that you trusted, and could have, like I said, it doesn't have to be romantic. This really feels more like a partnership of some kind that doesn't have to do with romance, but it could very well. They're saying you're moving beyond all of that stuff. You're expanding beyond all of that by making these aligned choices, by only tapping into those people who want to be there. Nobody has to do anything. Nobody has to say anything. They don't have to respond the way you think that they do, and they don't even have to respond if they don't want to. Now that you heard that truth, accept it, and man, you will feel completely free when you don't have to worry about how somebody else is going to respond. Okay, and I love that this showed up with the high priestess, because the high priestess is all about you deciding that even though you had experienced this deception or sneakiness or whatever in the past, this ill energy, even though you have accepted this ill energy, you making these aligned choices is you, by you moving from the nudges and the guidance that you're receiving, okay, as well as things being revealed about this specific situation. As soon as you start to say, hey, no more, I'm not going to move from this place anymore, even if you're not in that actual situation, that energy can still be active whether that person is there. Choose to align with who you are now and follow the nudges, and this energy will dissipate for sure. And remember, you're expanding beyond this anyway. That's what this is. And yes, it hurts. It hurt. It hurts. It might still be hurting, but you're expanding beyond. Okay, so just know that for sure. They want me to keep reiterating that, and know that you're being guided. Things are being revealed to you. And so if you just open yourself up to what you want and what you know you deserve, everything else will sort of fall into place. And try to find something joyful. Try to, even if you can only do it a few minutes a day, because some of us are living some pretty intense stuff. Yes, and it's not easy to just be like, oh, okay, I'll just go be happy, and then I'll go and sleep in my tent, on the street or whatever. That's intense. But if you could try to find a little bit of joy somewhere, I promise you, I promise you, I promise you, that inspiration, that idea, that thing that is going to move you will show up for you. And it'll, as soon as it gets a little crack in there, you'll begin to see. Okay? So try to find some joy. I get it. Tell me about celebration, as a matter of fact, as we come. I don't know how long it's been. Oh, as we come towards the end of this reading here, I'm going to send you guys off with one of these I Came to Win empowerment cards. The Six of Wands is clarifying celebration. This is the win. You joyfully along this path. Remember what I just said. Even if you are living some unspeakable things, trust yourself when you receive the nudge, when you're able to let that guard down for a minute after you've been asleep. Try not to jump into how messed up everything is, and see if you can receive a little bit of inspiration, because every single day, every single time you close your eyes and go to sleep, you reset your energy, your point of attraction. You have the ability to say, okay, today I'm not going to wake up on this bullshit. I don't want to live this anymore. At the very least, I'm going to play my ukulele before I jump into the bullshit. Make a game of it. See how far you can get into the day before you start to think, oh, this is bullshit. You're going to be surprised that by the end of the week, it's going to be later and later to where it won't even feel that way anymore, because they're promising you this. Try to find some type of joy, because you're in such an expansive time that it is going to be a game changer for you. You are going to win here. You just need to move with it and stop fighting against the energy that may have been keeping you stuck, or may have been keeping you from seeing how much you're expanding, because sometimes the emotional pain can mar any progress you feel you're making. But it doesn't mean you're not making progress. It just means that you maybe don't see it. Okay? And I love We got the celebration card at the bottom of the deck. Confirming celebration. Try to find, that's where that stability lies with that Four of Wands. Fours represent solid foundation. They represent stability. They represent security. That's Emperor energy. And you find it through joyful expression. Do what you can to just take a step back from what you might be currently seeing or living and try to allow that inspiration to flow. Sometimes when you're feeling bad, you can, take the 5-10 minutes and go and play your guitar. That's literally when I was living probably the worst time of my life. I was homeless with my son in a homeless shelter. And everybody who was supposed to be helping me and doing their jobs weren't. I was about to lose my shit completely until I took my guitar and went right out into that parking lot every morning for like 2 weeks and sang at the top of my lungs before I jumped into my whatever my life was then. Literally within 2 weeks of doing that, and I know for a fact it was because I surrendered and I didn't try to dig in or allow the fact that it felt like nobody was helping me in a situation that was only supposed to be a week at the most. It was almost a year. That's how horrible it was. And I was also healing from the heartbreak from my twin flame situation. So it was real good. But that being said, when I did surrender, it opened my whole world up in a way that I would have never been able to imagine. So I was able to see, oh, Spirit, that makes sense. Because if I had been over here doing this, when this opportunity showed up, it would have been a hassle to switch and just up and do this. And so it helped me understand the power of surrender and the power of joyful expression and the power of tapping into or being as positive as you can, even for a little bit of the day. That was what I said all of that for, is if you can start your day that way, great. If you find yourself in that funk, do what you can to find something to appreciate right now, and it'll help slow that momentum down and maybe even bring some of the joy back into your life. Okay? I love that so much because we got declutter as the overarching energy for the next couple of weeks, because you're in this expansive period. So you're going to want to start making more aligned choices with who you are now versus who you've been. That's what that 3 of Swords energy and that 7 of Swords energy is. Joyful expression with the 6 of Wands, the 4 of Wands, and celebration. Okay, and that's going to be the name of the game. Because if you're not experiencing the expansion, it's only because you're super hyper focused on this one thing. And they're saying if you just zoom out, even that one thing will come into alignment. Okay, and so I'm going to pull one of my I Came to Win Oracle cards. We're going to jump into the first part of Alex's highlights of his interview. I just posted the full interview on the channel, so please feel free to check that out after you see the highlights. The way, first of all, he's such a super cool dude, but the way that he explains this and the passion about what he's saying, it's really, really intoxicating. So what do you want me to send these beautiful viewers, listeners off with? Wow. All of them? Okay. Like, really, all of them? Okay. It's not too many. It's 3 of them. And I knew this one was going to show up because when I picked up the cards, I actually saw this at the bottom of the deck. You hold the keys. You are literally at that space right now where you can choose to move forward, even through the doubt, even through the fear. It says you hold the keys to the future. You're in that expansive period now. And it's only a couple of perspective takes before you have to go and before things change. Sorry, I lost my train of thought. But also, They want you to know that you're being guided. The path is illuminated. That's exactly what they're saying here on this rating. You're manifesting success, an unstoppable force. Like that's what I was saying. It's happening no matter what. Period. Now, if you don't move with it, you may only get to experience a little bit of it because it does require you to move to the next, to go deeper into who you are. Instead of moving up, you're going deeper into who you are for this next phase. Let the stuff that has disappointed you go. Celebrate life. Go dancing in. That's what we're doing here. We're gratituding in. We're dancing in. You can pray in if you want to. However you want to do it is fine, but we are in a time of celebration. That is the fastest way to get out of any of this pain energy. And they want you to know it's happening. It's unstoppable. It's unstoppable. You're manifesting the success that you want. It is happening. You just need to be ready. And they want you to definitely protect your energy. That was that discernment we were talking about with the Queen. Just want you to be aware of where you're spending your energy and if it's worth it. Okay? So I hope that resonated with somebody, and I hope that you guys are feeling this expansive energy. It is really kind of amazing, actually, the way that things are playing out. And, show up to your life if you're not experiencing it. Zoom out as best you can. Give thanks for whatever you can in the moment, and you will see the improvement. Okay? So thank you again for watching. I'm about to go ahead and jump into segment 1 of his interview after the commercial. And it'll be a little clunky, I'm sure, but we love it, right? Whatever. We're all about flow here on the Sandy Spirit podcast and making it happen anyway. Okay. So thanks again for watching. I will be right back with the first part of Alex's interview. And okay, guys, I'm going to share my screen right now, and we are going to watch Alex's highlights from his interview. And away we go.
I think the world is drowning in data, and I still think that people come up super short with simple things like, why don't I feel well? Why don't I function well? Because data isn't really an answer. It's points on a map somewhere. So what we really do with Tonewell, we're medical adjacent. I'm not trying to tell you what's wrong with you. I'm trying to tell you what's going on with you. They're different. So what's going on with you are the things you can affect. Like, you can't argue how somebody tells you how they feel. Can't argue that. What you can do is begin to help them see it differently, or have better outcome, have a better relationship. And then what we do with Tonewell is help people build a better relationship with themselves. So what I mean by that is, we have categories. There are 8 of them, how we present stuff, things like hydration, sleep, stress, inflammation, pathogens. And if you were to understand that your sleep isn't like this amorphous thing, it could be you're low in magnesium glycinate. Take this before you go to bed. Leave the pharmaceutical over there. You don't have the basic building block that your body needs to accomplish X, Y, Z. I'm having digestion issues. Take a probiotic. But maybe it's also something as simple as, I don't know, a bitter herb, or scraping your tongue so your mouth rebuilds enzymes, or going for a walk. It doesn't have to be, I take XYZ product, which
Right.
kind of goes to something that you had said a few minutes earlier, which is there was a point that like the naturopathic, the holistic, and the medicine doctor were all in one. They were divided and bifurcated in the early teens by the Rockefeller Foundation,
That makes
mostly
sense.
because they wanted to sell you more petroleum. Like 90 something percent of all pharmaceuticals have a petroleum base.
Oh, interesting.
So when you say, hey, I want to sell more of this, somebody else says, well, you got to get rid of that. So we've been kind of separated from ourselves, which is why I say I want to help people build a better relationship with themselves. Our goal with Tonewell and our company, like I said, we're not here to tell you what's wrong. We're here to tell you how you can be empowered so that you can have a better relationship with you. And that is based in science. That is based in these are the things that we see happening. But, you know, like it's not my job in the world to crush you. It's kind of the job to lift you up.
Yeah.
So
Absolutely.
that's what we do.
Yeah, and I love that because again, it's not just identifying there's the problem. I noticed in the report there's suggestions, there's also solutions. They're saying if you did this, this would improve this. And again, like you said, the whole goal of this is not to tell you doom, doom. No, this is what's identifying what's going on, and here's how you can fix it. And that's exactly how I even do my tarot readings. I was
Exactly.
and I love not just your enthusiasm about it, but I can feel your passion and how you did the research and how this really did impact you in a way where it probably even changed you.
So it's funny, like I was a philosophy major in college. I actually left my sophomore year because it was just more interesting to go tour bands. So believe me, when I start having conversations with people, I'm not a doctor. I'm not like what I am is a person that can understand the problem set that's in front of me. I have a business partner who is a doctor. The guys that develop the science are hardcore scientists. I'm the Pied Piper. I'm the guy that's bringing it through the town. You know what I mean? So in that, our reports, as you were just alluding to, and I appreciate that, like we make them simple. I give you a top 5. Now, I think I sent you the raw data. It's like a very long list of stuff. But it's not going to serve you anything. So what we do is we break it into like the top 5. We color code it red, yellow, green. Pretty straightforward. Green is good. I always tell people something that's good with them. You should always start with, hey, how are you? It's great to meet you. And then we go with yellow. These are the things that should be on your radar. Keep an eye out for them. But here's red. Full stop, right? Full stop. Red light. Stop.
Yeah.
Address this. We do a 1-day, 3-day, 10-day forecast. Morning, noon, night. If in the next 10 days, you can take your time. It's not me. I'm not a doctor. I'm not telling you. I'm suggesting, and we are, as a company, again, rooted in hardcore science. So we're not guessing here, but we're telling you that if you want to feel better, you might want to start with these things. They're red. They're glaring. They're sticking out. So if you're interested in knowing what's happening with you, you've gone to tonewell.co and you've bought your scan, and we don't ask any questions. Like legitimately, we're not a data company in the sense of like, I'm not trying to collect your information.
Gotcha.
I ask 4 basic questions: first name, last name, email, phone number. That way we can get in touch.
Yeah.
So you bought your bundle, you bought your package. We currently only have a 1 and a 3. 1 are mostly what men do, not to be sexist here, but most guys are like, give me the answer, I go do it, I come back. And then we offer a 3 for women, mostly because women are interested in their hormones and other things. So you might want to do one at the end of your cycle, in the middle of the month, and then right before your cycle. But let's just, all things being equal, you bought your package, you paid through Stripe, which is our processor. You'll get an SMS from us, frictionless. You hit the SMS, you go up into the cloud, you talk for 30 seconds. It takes 25 seconds for our processor to process. It then goes through our workflow, our automated workflow. It creates the template report and an infographic that gets bundled into an email. and within 5 minutes you have your outcome, right?
Wow.
Yeah, 5 minutes is actually because we slowed it down. I know that sounds silly, but it's no, seriously. When we first started doing this, and like you have to do focus groups, and like just as a business person, you did focus groups and blah blah blah.
Research,
People are like, it's so fast. I can't believe that's accurate. So like the difference between 3 minutes and 5 minutes makes a difference for you. Okay, cool. 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Difference between 3 minutes and 10 minutes makes a difference. Oh,
Yeah.
fine by us. Like an egg timer, and go, whatever, right? So that's typically how we operate. You get our report. It's between 7 and 9 pages, really depending upon what we see. You get an infographic so you can look at it. Most people like to look at things first.
Yeah.
Before they really begin to read. And then from there, again, since I'm not a medical professional, nor do I play one on TV, nor do I actually like what I typically end up doing is I do a reference, which goes to the second part of our business. Like we have a ton of practitioners and modality people, and they understand what we're doing. I'll send them the raw data. Go talk to such and such, a hormone specialist, a Reiki healer, whatever your thing is.
Right.
Go, right? But what we do is I supply the raw data to anybody that wants it. I'm not a gatekeeper that way. That's not our IP. I'm not giving away any state secrets. And a lot of people have used that data interactively with like their LLMs, with their AI chatbots, right? Because some people are like, well, I just got my blood test, or I have an HRV monitor, or I wear a Whoop or an Aura, whatever. It's all good stuff.
Yeah.
And here's more analysis for you. Now, what's interesting in our analysis is that we're not an output device. And what I mean by that is a wearable is pure output. It's only telling you you're not sleeping. It's not telling you why you're not sleeping.
Right. I see what you mean. Yeah.
It's only telling you how many calories you burned, not why those calories were burned.
Right.
We are more of like an input monitor. So when you put those things together, you have a far more holistic picture of yourself. So typically what you get from us, to answer the question, is like, here's the report. Here's the way we're looking at it. We're happy to engage secondarily. I'm happy to make referrals. I answer any question. Like, for example, I had a woman that we did a report for, and she wrote me back very specifically, hey, could you tell me what this means for our hormones? Now, granted, my email had a very nice disclaimer written into it, like, I am not. But yeah, I took her information and I went back into our process device very specifically. Woman, I put her age in, which I won't share here because even though I won't give her name, still rude to say her name. If they say her age, and I sent her back what we saw as the output, because sure, it's my pleasure to do that, right?
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
we're very concierge that way. Like the mystery is not like what can I keep from you? It's the how did you do that?
Right. Yeah.
Well, I can tell you how I did it. You're going to have to go spend the 10 years of research to do it yourself. So,
Yeah.
like that's our, special sauce. That's our secret sauce. That's the thing that, so everything else is like, how do you engage with somebody, right? Like, how do you make a difference for somebody that they might be able to see it? I've never met anybody that's not shattered. Seriously. We've all had our thing.
Yeah.
It's, are you willing to face them and put them back together? So it could be your health. It could be your stress. It could be your sleep. It could be the way that you're interacting in the world. And what we all need to do is get a better understanding of who we are.
Yes.
I don't need, you don't need the influencer to tell you what to buy. You don't need the world to tell you what's wrong.
Yes.
You don't need, believe me, there's enough noise in your head. You need a clean signal.
Yes.
And a clean signal starts with your understanding of you. And that's really what we're trying to do. We're trying to help people, help them build their relationship with their selves. That's why I use non-diagnostic, non-medical. Yeah, I get it. I'm not a doctor. Cool, whoop. But I have partners that are, and they could be sitting here talking about them. It's not what it's about. It really isn't. I want to be a super successful company. I hope we one day are worth billions and billions of dollars. Fantastic.
You're on the leading edge, dude. Seriously.
Right. What's far more important, and I mean this genuinely, and it's no hokum, it's no BS, is like the idea of helping people relate to themselves. You're not broken, you're shattered. If you put all the pieces back together, believe me, you're still beautiful, you're still able, you're still capable. You just have to come to grips with that something broke.
Yeah.
Right?
And honestly face it and look at it. And I love that because that's literally that's what my whole life's work is about. And even with Taro, I'm not going to tell you that this plane is going to crash tomorrow. I'm going to tell you what's going on, what the challenge is, and how we're going to move forward, you know? And,
Amen.
And I love that. And that's what this whole world should be about. Tarot worked for me, but I'm not going to tell you it's going to work for you. But let's figure out how we can figure out what is going to work. The only goal is to get back to yourself so that you can know that you're not this broken thing that you think you are. And so that you can move forward confidently.
So here's an interesting thing, and bring it back to some biblical here for a second. Recognize that Adam and Eve were only in the Garden of Eden for 6 hours.
Really?
Yes. 6.
For 6 hours is what you said?
6 hours. That is the reason I point that out isn't anything other than there's no such thing as lasting perfection. After that, we are all trying to put ourselves back together and get back to that point of perfection. So you should never stop working on yourself. You should never stop believing on yourself. You should never stop moving forward. So if Tonewell, TONEWELL.co, see, there was my plug. If Tonewell can be of any help, that's what we're here to do. Legitimately. We don't sell anything secondarily, by the way. I don't upsell anything. You want to go buy magnesium from CVS or a special boutique person? Cool. You don't want to listen to us? I'm sorry. But like, it's about empowering you. So recognize that there is no such thing as perfection. That is the myth that they put upon us because we were actually created and only in that state, again, without eating or consciousness, by the way, for 6 hours. 6 hours. So just don't put so much stress on yourself is the point of that.
Yeah. No, that and you're absolutely right. You're just that it's literally self-inflicted, the things that we do. And once we realize what they are, make an awareness to it, we start working our way away from that perspective of ourselves.
Amen. Sure. Yep.
What did I tell you? I mean, it is really, really amazing. And like I said, he's such a cool dude, like, and so down to earth that it's like you can totally relate to and feel what he's actually saying. So we're going to come back after this little talk here about moving through the Queens with the second part of the highlights of that. And if you guys are interested in booking a reading, feel free. Everything is going to be in the description. You can also check out his link, tonewell.co. It is also going to be in the description as well. I invite you guys to check it out because it really is like the leading edge. It really is incredibly miraculous. And how fast I got the response when I sent him a 30-second sample of me just saying, oh yeah, I don't know what to say. Because it doesn't really matter. It's really reading your waveforms, okay? But I definitely wanted to talk a little bit about moving through the Queens. It's something that I've been kind of alluding to for some time, and now that I'm moving more into teacher role versus reader role, I definitely want to share my experiences with you guys, especially after, because when I learned of this kind of pattern or this, when I zoomed out, was after that dark night of the soul that I told you about, and when I finally surrendered, and my life changed and upgraded in such a crazy way that it was no doubt spirit. And so I was ready to get clear. I was ready. I was listening. I was saying, okay, spirit, clearly you're doing something here, and it's way more than I could have ever even imagined, because the way that things worked out, fresh off of living in a homeless shelter, I mean, how it's progressed since then, especially to where I'm living right now, it's crazy. So one of the things that I did put a few talking points together so that I can kind of keep it concise because I can be a bit long-winded. Um, the queen, like I was telling you guys before, the queen is typically grounded and embodying truths, while the king represents mastery. So the only reason I'm saying queen is because these I can specifically talk to because I moved through these, and I'm still moving through these. In fact, I'm at my Queen of Pentacles stage, and I'll explain that to you as we go along. But if you're a guy who finds this, there's still a queen energy that you'll want to move through before you can obtain that king energy, and it's just about finding grounded in clarity, which the Queen of Swords and the King of Swords are all about that. So while they're all ever evolving beings, the queen is the one that grounds herself long enough to obtain that mastery. So you can't really become the king until you move through each one of these queens, depending on what part of your life what area you're in. And again, once we talk about it, you might start to see where you are in terms of the queens, because the way that it worked for me is you have to move through the Queen of Swords. You have to use discernment. You have to use the sword of truth, your new understanding, even in this moment. And we saw that with the reading there, the general reading. You've got to embody who you are now and start making those choices from who you are now, not from who you've been, that Three of Swords energy, not from the people you may have encountered in the past, that Seven of Swords energy, but from who you are now. And so once you open yourself up, because she's also all about receiving and receiving downloads, she's receiving who to, what to, and how to cut out or use that discernment to fine tune who she is now and to fine tune her vision. So as you do listen to this, think to yourself, which queen am I in right now? Or which figure of the court cards can represent your current stage? Because quickly, just to go over it, a page is new. A page is somebody who's learning how to do something. While the knight, he's action. Even the Knight of Pentacles is moving, although he is moving slowly. They're acting on the information that they're learning as the page. Then you ground yourself as you begin to start to embody that with that queen energy, and that's what this is. And as you continue to stay grounded in that new truth of yours, you then obtain that mastery of the king. Okay, so whether it be clarity with the swords, clarity of emotions with the cups, or manifestation with the pentacles, there is a level of moving through these queens before you can obtain some type of mastery in either area of these suits. For me, like I said, I'm now in this Queen of Pentacles and Queen of Cups stage because I'm building, and the Queen of Pentacles knows about building and manifesting things in the physical world. But before you can get clear on what you're building, or even start the process of building, you need to get clear on what that vision is, what you see, what your intentions are, because swords represent intentions, thoughts, perspectives, anything that has to do with air, communication, airwaves, frequency, exactly the same thing that we just talked to with Alex. So she's developing discernment, and it also represents clear boundaries, because remember, the clearer that you get, the boundaries are going to set themselves. You're no longer going to put up with things that you used to, because you're not there anymore. And even if you are, it becomes so loud that you're just like, I got to do something. Sometimes the clarity is forced on you with the tower. And that's why I never get afraid of the tower, because if I'm not able to get this clarity myself, or afraid to make the move that needs to be made to get the clarity, strike me down, God. Get me that clarity, and I don't care how you do it. I say that now until I'm in it, but still, the clarity is worth it. Whenever the heartache, the Three of Swords energy, it's worth it, because now you're receiving the clarity. You're deciding with that sword of truth, this ain't it anymore. This is it. This ain't it. It's the yes or no sword, basically, for how you're going to navigate through life before you can move into this Queen of Wands energy. But the beautiful thing is as you continue to get the clarity, then you're going to start to get your passion, your confidence, your delight, your wanting to be more visible, your charisma, your courage, your sense of power and independence starts to return, but not if you're not clear first. So the way that it works, you move through this queen, you embody her, you continue to get clear. Your confidence comes back online, your inspiration, your identity, because it is Wands energy is fire, representative of the sun. And that's all about your self-image, your image of self. You start to feel like yourself again. You start to look forward to that joyful expression that we saw in the general reading. It naturally starts to come back. You start wanting to go out with your friends again. You start wanting to show, be seen on social media or whatever your thing is. But just because you've moved through the clarity of this queen and now you're feeling your Queen of Wands doesn't mean you don't need to keep embody this, because you're now both of these queens as you're moving through the queens. Just because you got the clarity you needed doesn't mean you're not going to need to oscillate as you're continuing to express yourself joyfully. Okay? But as you do that, and as you're starting to feel that expression come back online and move back into your authenticity and move from who you truly are, then your vision starts to become something that you want to manifest. And that's when you start building. And you start building from a place of clarity first. Joyful expression, authentic expression second. And now you're in that manifestation and actual physical manifestation area. And so I would say I'm in this area right now because I feel everything coming back online at once, and it is because of the clarity that I chose. I could have easily went back into doing this and that and still be running in place. I said I can't do it anymore. I have to change how I'm doing this. Okay? And now I can feel my passion come back online. The Queen of Wands represents also creativity. I hear guitar lines. I'm writing a new album. It's like the color is coming back into my world, and it only can happen after you get the clarity from your sword of truth. That sword represents your truth. And the reason it's standing straight up is because in this age, you're grounding yourself in clarity. So you can't really, you got to be pretty rigid with that sword. You can't do the on the fence thing, because you'll notice in the King of Swords card, his is a little askew because he can be a little flexible. He's obtained mastery, but the Queen is grounding herself in this clarity. She's using discernment now, which means that sword needs to be rigid. You can't do it. Oh, it can't be like, well, if you want to, well, this person can do it. No, this is the line, and you can't do it. That's what this Queen of Swords is. As soon as this becomes the truth for you, and not just something you say, or acting, or faking the funk, like I like to tell my dog Leslie, stop faking the funk. Then your passion and joyful expression naturally come back online. You start to hear those lines again. If you're a writer, you start to get the inspiration for the story. You start to see the characters and the people that you're interacting that could potentially turn into something. That's that creative fire. And creative fire mixed with clarity turns into powerful manifestation, especially discernment and clear discernment. Once you decide and you know this is it, I will not put up with anything less than this, it changes pretty quickly. And so at the same time, I would say you become this Queen of Cups, because now you're walking with clarity, You're walking with passion. You're walking with joyful expression. You're starting to see your authentic truth manifesting in your physical world. And now you infuse all of that with love. And that's what this queen is with intuition and love. You're now moving with this feminine energy again under your wings in a clear, joyful, expressive way. And that also ends up becoming physical reality with the queen of pentacles. And again, just because you may be in one stage of your life with these queens, it doesn't mean you don't need to embody them at different times and in different situations. You're always going to need the clarity of the Queen of Swords first, because you need to, it is impossible to build your world if you don't know who you intend to be in that world, period. Because then the energies are so, you're subject to anything coming in. If you know clearly what this needs to be, feel, or do, then if it doesn't be, feel, or do that, then you know it ain't it, right? Now you're able to focus on the things that it is joyfully because it's coming from a place of authenticity, which naturally gives you your power back. Naturally gives you your power back. The clarity is the foundation of any other thing because you naturally get your power back once you set those boundaries or once you use that discernment to say, is this me anymore? Is this me? You know, then it starts manifesting in your physical world. And now you're infusing it. You're infusing all of it with love. You're infusing all of it with joyful expression. And I would say the main reason why I feel like the Queen of Cups is the end game, if you will, for the queens is because she's now, all of this is what love represents. Love represents clarity. Love represents freedom. Love represents inspiration. Love represents beautiful ideas and beautiful, joyful expression. Love represents manifestation. And so the reason why I at least me, strive to be this Queen of Cups is because once you've done all of these other things, you're now embodying all of it by just being love. And that's the ultimate kind of goal or the ultimate form of expression. And that's kind of like the end for all of us. So no matter where you are on that queen journey, male or female, decide that the clarity is the most important thing, and everything else will naturally flow back into the way that it's supposed to flow. And I shit you not. Because look, some of these you oscillate between because as you start to get the clarity, you start to feel your passion coming back. And so sometimes that Knight of Pentacles, or excuse me, that Knight of Wands energy, you can be a little reckless with it. Like, I feel clear, I'm excited. So you move before it's time. Because the Knight of Wands is actually can be being reckless, being so excited that you just want to go. And so this would be the reason why you got to do it from a place of clarity. Or you do that. You do something because you think you're clear enough to do it. It backfires in some way. Move back to the Queen of Swords. Oh, guess what? That wasn't it. I need to go ahead and get clarity before I move into whatever this is. As soon as you'll know when you're clear enough to move because your natural confidence, joyful expression, you'll receive your power back in a way that you'll know that you're back, baby. You'll be like, I'm back, baby. You'll hear guitar lines again. You'll be sitting down and just writing and writing and writing. You'll start that book. You'll start that album. You'll just be inspired to do it. So you'll know that you're clear by how you move, and now you're in the Queen of Wands energy. As soon as you're feeling joyful, expressive, you receive these ideas that can now turn into physical manifestations. So you're still joyfully all through this, you're joyfully looking and using your discernment for things that you are now. And you start to see it manifesting in your physical world. And once you start to embody all of these things, you're now living love. You're now living the Queen of Cups in a physical world, because the Queen of Cups also represents balanced emotions, balance, just being grounded emotionally. You've got the mental clarity, you've got the passion, and now you're moving powerfully along your path. Which, remember the card that we got in the I Came to Win Oracle, that the path is being illuminated for you. You don't even need to go find it. It appears under your feet as long as you are moving joyfully and at least in a spirit of hope along your path as best you can. Okay? So I hope that brought some type of clarity. I know that it was kind of obvious to me, because this was when I first got out of my dark night of the soul, and I was in my Queen of Swords, realizing, oh no, this is clearly a blessing. Like, surrender was obviously between, my guides were here with me doing something, and I'm like, okay, now I need to get clear, because I know that I can't keep doing things the way that I've been doing them and stay in this energy. As soon as I was ready, I literally felt my Queen of Wands. I was wearing tribal necklaces. I was wearing red. I did my nails red. That's that passion, that fire returning, and now I'm in that Queen of Pentacles energy of boss lady. Let me get clear on this structure. How am I going to get this paper and make sure that it lasts and have real shit for my legacy, for my grandkids, for my son, and for any just for my name and who I am. You know what I'm saying? So Queen of Pentacles right now is really perfect for me, especially as a complete water sign, Cancer, double Cancer, Sun, Moon. My physical world can be a little wobbly if I don't make conscious effort. And so I was oscillating between this Queen of Pentacles for some time, because I hadn't fully gotten the clarity that I needed, and I hadn't really been moving from a place of authenticity. And that's honest to goodness truth. And now I know I am, because I see how easy it is to move into this queen when you're ready. Okay? So again, I hope that did help. I really I really feel passionate about this, because it was super obvious to me, and still is, when I look at the tarot cards, how they're an exact mirror of who we are and where we are, and it 100% has to do with the reader. So let me know if you want to drop something in the comments, and let me know where you're at, which queen you feel you're in, or are you a page right now? Are you learning something new? Are you learning how to love? Are you learning how to open your heart? Are you learning how to take action and show up more confidently? Or are you in the night, stage where you're actually actively taking that action from a place of passion, or from a place of clarity, or from a place of observing, waiting and watching, like the Knight of Pentacles. So yeah, I'll go ahead and jump into the second part of his interview. And like I said, I hope that was really helpful, because when I was able to zoom out and really look at it, I was like, wow, no, that really makes perfect sense, especially for even where I'm at right now, in terms of really thinking of long term. And I think I even said this in a previous reading, investing my time, investing my thoughts, investing my money, investing my energy, and not just spending it frivolously, because I realize the value of it. So let's go ahead and jump into another quick promo, and then we will get to Alex is the rest of his highlights for the interview.
With your understanding of you. The reality of it is that we are all separated from ourselves. I've never met anybody that's not shattered. It's, are you willing to face them and put them back together? What we all need to do is get a better understanding of who we are. You don't need the influencer to tell you what to buy. You don't need the world to tell you what's wrong. Believe me, there's enough noise in your head. You need a clean signal. And a clean signal starts with your understanding of you.
Well, guys, time for the second half of the interview. I invite you guys to definitely go check out Tonewell. Like I said, you're going to be a little bit amazed at the information that you get from a 30-second audio clip. So if you're curious about it, check out the website, see more, check more into it, and see if it aligns with whatever you're looking to find out about yourself, because it can actually tell you, like he said, magnesium deficits. It pointed out that I was a little stressed out. Duh. Just kidding. I'm not anymore, but because I did this interview about a month or so ago. But yeah, I pointed out some things that were pretty spot on, actually. It will tell you if you need more water, things like that. So I invite you to check it out. The links are in the description. If you guys want to book a reading, that is also in the description. And if you guys are in Vegas, I have some live events coming up, but I'll jump back on after this to thank you again and say goodbye.
And for better health. And what this company specialized in, because they were actually a medical device, was using waveform and frequency to combat Lyme's disease, autoimmune disease, and really heavy things that people were dealing with. Not like my neck hurts or I'm in a bad mood because there's a new moon, which also they do, right. But really very hardcore medical science using waveform and frequency. What makes that interesting is most PEMF companies are what I call an amplitude device, meaning they hit you as hard as they humanly can hit you with something so that you feel it and you believe, though it does work, you believe that something's happening because you feel like you're getting electrocuted every time it hits.
Right.
What this company did, and the reason that is because your body recognizes waveform. And after a while, it's like, well, I've had enough of that. It essentially turns itself off to being receptive. So what this company does, they're called Amp Coil, really brilliant, is they figured out how to change the waveform, literally the shape of the wave that was coming at you, so that they could, one, build better modality for your opportunity. How do I help cure, fix, replenish, what have you? Mm-hmm. And frequencies that were bundled in that. So recognize that if you have a cold or a virus or a flu, you might want to affect that a little bit differently than if you have candida or yeast or autoimmune disease, and you would want to do it differently than if like your lower lumbar or your meniscus was hurting you, right? Like there are different things that need to happen in all of those. So in having a conversation with their science guys, I said, wow, this is fascinating. I understood it because I understand waveform and frequency, hence the music business. And I said, well, if you're coming down the street in one direction, how do we go back up the street? What I meant by that was you're feeding me a signal and frequency. So therefore, could you read a signal and frequency and tell me what it correlates to? And they said, yes, of course. 30 plus years of science doing that. You've gotten into devices like CT scans and MRIs and CAT scans, and they're using frequency and reading what's coming back and mapping, what that looks like. So I said, wow, that's wonderful. And they said, but we don't do that. And my answer was, yes, but I will, and we're going to do this together. So that was the genesis, Tonewell. And then about 18 months of working with each other and coming what a report should look like, and using peer reviews and white papers and clinical trials that existed in other companies, and the NIH and all of the published work. We came out with what is our now, what I said, static database earlier.
Mhm.
So we use computer learning. I use big form computer learning to digest a myriad of information and come up with what our equation is with inside of wellness, using super well-established frequency charts, like Wilhelm Reich, very famous frequency person who coined the word orgon, which is what he calls ether, the energy that's around you, mapped in the 1930s the frequencies that affect your body. And this was well before he was attacked by the government and put in jail for being a communist, which he wasn't. Different story over there. But if you then map that against like what John Hopkins is saying, or Harvard is saying, or the CDC or the NIH or what have you, you can then begin to build your own equations, and those equations are what we built Tonewell on. I'm a Generation X person, and there's a motto. I don't know where my book is.
Yes.
No one's coming to save you.
Yes, I'm a Gen Xer too, and
no one is coming to save you, and that's not actually a bad thing. That's not a woe is me doomsday thing. It simply means go do it.
Yes,
because people will join you on the road. They will.
Yeah.
I just don't want to argue with you down in the ditch.
Yes. Oh God, yes.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, we're on the road. We're travelers. You get a, hey, how are you? Oh, you need a drink of water. Oh, I got an extra one of those.
Yeah.
All day, every day. But I ain't coming down into the dirt and the ditch. I ain't saving you, dude.
Oh man, no way. Yeah.
And that realization alone can change your life. Honestly, once you accept it, your awareness will catch on. And even if you have the trouble, because you might have some stuff changing beliefs and habits, your awareness won't let it get off the rails, because that's the one beautiful thing I've clung to. Is I've had a lot of stuff I've had to reprogram and things come up, but my awareness lets me know, nah, man, we're not going there again.
Yeah, I've seen that one. You know what I mean? I've seen.
Yeah.
You know, and like for me, so like obviously my background was in music, and like I put a lot of product in the world, and as soon as I came across this what is now Tonewell, I said to myself, what are you waiting on? Like what like somebody else is going to do it. By the way, there are competitors. They're doing it totally differently. They're using it as an aptitude score for employers. Like that ain't my gig. Like they're rating you, you know, like that's not my thing. I want to help people empower themselves and make their own decisions. And as soon as like I've been doing this forever. I've been putting people's product into the world, and like I said earlier, like I take super complicated things and make them easy to digest. And well, you're a such and such, you should have a fragrance. Why don't you have a gene company? Like, cool, I'll go figure that out. Oh, I know how to call that person. Do you know them? No, but I'll know them in 5 minutes.
Yeah,
hey,
I love that. Yeah, that's
I represent big name XYZ. You know what I mean? Like, may rest in peace, but one of my dear friends, Oliver Grant, known as Power from Wu-Tang, and he and I were very dear friends, and may rest in peace. He passed 2 months ago. But, you know, we were in LA one day, and I said to him, and that's Power from Wu-Tang. Like, he is Wu-Tang, you know what I mean? And I was like him, RZA, and Divine started the whole thing. Beautiful Jamaican guy. And I said to him, what made you think you guys could do this? And he said, nobody told me I couldn't. That was his answer. It was that. It was that. Like, nobody told me I couldn't. And the second part of probably would have been, and I wasn't going to listen anyway. But
right. It's a
you know what I mean? But like that. But that's meaningful. Like that's how your life should be. Now, I'm a clean up after yourself, do no harm.
Yeah.
You know, I'll also leave you where you stand if we go that way. But like, the idea isn't like what's mine. It's like, what can you create? And that's frequency. That's wavelength. That's harmonic. Like if you play piano, you recognize that there's like the chords, and then they multiply out to 88 keys, right? But they're the same things
Yes.
replicated,
Exactly.
right?
Yeah.
So you should recognize that that's the pattern that is, the octave. And that's all we are, is some sort of octave, some sort of wavelength frequency that's coming together
Yeah.
that allows me to speak, that allows me to hear, that allows me to touch,
And
right? That allows
just meat soup, like you said. Yeah.
yeah, man.
Yeah. Man, that's so cool. Oh, you got me freaking fired up right now. Seriously.
I'm glad.
Yeah.
But I will tell you that you're allowed to say no. It's the most powerful word in the English language. It's super short too. It's like that long.
Yeah.
No, as long as you mean it, because you know why you're saying no.
Yeah, exactly. And
Right?
it only has to be those 2 letters. It doesn't have to be an explanation of any.
Nope. It doesn't have.
Yeah.
And honestly, the second you start explaining it, the less power it has.
Gosh, that is so true. And I love that so much. And I think that's the most beautiful part of Tonewell for me, is that, and why it falls so in line with this podcast, not just because you were a music producer and I make music, all of that, but because it's about empowering people to make the choice, at least go into these meetings with these people with information. So you're not just accepting what's being handed to you.
You have to be your own advocate.
Yeah.
You have to be your own advocate. If you don't have agency, which is control over your own situation, if you're not your own advocate, so in the marketing world, when I used to do that, you'd say to people, advocates equal equity, meaning the more people that you have advocating for you, the better off you'll be in the marketplace. So the same is true for yourself, right? So as a music person, again, another example I use all the time, like we've all put on a piece of music and the hair on our arm stands up.
Oh, yes.
Well, what's actually happening there is resonation. It is legitimately resonating with you and making your cells do this, right? And therefore it's causing a chain reaction that makes the hair stand up. Yeah. It's a physical reaction to a metaphysical opportunity.
That's
right?
So beautiful. Yeah, because I've even had a thought that has brought that reaction too. So it's like,
yeah, of course you have.
That can like just,
thoughts are as much of an electric pulse as music coming at you.
Oh,
like if you've ever put on like a QEEG and done like brain mapping, you recognize that my circuits aren't firing. Well, the circuits that are firing are creating all of this, space that we're in. I think we had this conversation when we spoke previously, like I'm sitting on a laptop that's not connected to anything.
Yes.
Seriously, nothing. Yeah. I'm talking into a microphone connected to the laptop, not connected to anything. So it means there's no driver as a music guy. There's no driver in the microphone.
Yes.
Okay?
Yeah.
However, this is happening in real time. We're having a real conversation where I'm getting it in real time. You're getting it in real time. It's being filmed.
Yeah. We're in other states, so we're receiving
I'm in
these
Pennsylvania.
Signals.
You're in Nevada. Yeah. So therefore, it's Schrodinger's cat, which means it's either happening or it's not happening. It's always happening or it's never happening at the exact same moment, which means that like if you turn on YouTube and there's a video and you're watching the video in real time and you get to hit pause, that means that frequency is always there. Right. It's just being translated into the little box that you're watching it in.
That's
right? So then like everything else is plausible. So the way you think about yourself, like if you can see it, you can be it. Hate fake it till you make it means you're always going to be a fraud.
Yeah,
always.
I agree. I'm not a fan of faking anything.
But if you can see it, you can be it. Yeah. Means that you be like, that's why some dreams are so real, because like, dude, you were there. You just got to figure out how to take it from here and put it over there. And
that falls in line with the multiple realities, or how everything is happening. We talked about that too, how we're on the surface of everything, and that's what that frequency is. You're
all the time
resonating with whatever this thing is that you're experiencing physically.
Yeah, I mean, look, the choices you make limit the choices you have, both good and bad, right? Like good choices, I get more good choices. Bad choices, good choices start going away. I'm doing this, right? Yeah. So that's like the choose your own adventure. Was a
my favorite book series when I was a kid.
Right, exactly. Choose your own adventure. All I have to do is fill in the adjective and the verb, and all of a sudden the entire story changed, right? Yeah. But that's a choice. Now, PM.
What did I tell you guys? Alex is absolutely amazing. I invite you guys again to check out tonewell.co. And as you guys all know, I would not put something on my show that I didn't fully believe in, honestly. And I love it when these guys like to use me as their guinea pig. Because I love, and I do that for myself in my meditations and everything I create to be sure that I'm not selling you guys a bill of goods. And I will say, every person, right on down to Sophia on the last show, every person on this show is somebody that I talk to and fully believe in. And, you know, and will say that I endorsed. And he did this reading on me, and it was miraculous. So get on over to tonewell.co. If you're interested in booking a reading, you can certainly check me out. My calendar link is in there, or you can also book me through my Etsy store. Everything's going to be in the description. Please do subscribe. Please do like. Please do share. The next, I would say probably the next kind of year is damn near booked up with the most amazing interviews from authors to musicians to bands to thought leaders, leading edge thinkers. So yeah, and if you are interested in actually being on the show, that calendar link, there's also a link that you can reach out to me on, and you can just fill out the form and all that stuff, and we can find out, you know, your story and how what inspired you that you want to share now that can inspire others. So thank you. I am completely grateful. Again, book your reading, check out Tonewell, go to sacredyou.love as well if you are interested in finding like-minded people, women specifically, who are spiritually minded and who speak your language. Definitely check it out. And yeah, thanks again. I am Mika, the Traveling Tarot, and you have been listening to the Sound of Spirit podcast. I love you guys. Take care of each other, okay? Peace.